also brilliant. I have the most recent record and I listen to it often.
No, I wouldn't say that. Can we cut all of that? All right, so the new album is called Trails. Why is it called Trails?
The album is called Trails. It's like a 3-part answer, I think. So I'll try to condense.
Are you a big hiker? Is that
Yeah. I'm an avid outdoorsman.
Yeah.
You can tell by my hat.
Yes, you're clearly a hunter of some sort.
Yes. I'm just out in the beating Serengeti sun,
Writing songs.
just writing songs. No, Trails is actually it's an allegory.
Okay.
I wrote 3 records in the build up to this record.
Right.
And the first one was a full band record, and I decided not to go that direction. So I went and wrote a stripped back acoustic record, and a lot of the songs on it were songs that I'd already been playing live for a long time at that point. But they just didn't make the first record for whatever reason. And I was ready to pull them out and put them on the second record along with a bunch of new ones that have been written. And at some point I decided I didn't want to do any of those either. So I canned those, and I still play a lot of them live.
From a comic standpoint, I fully understand.
Right.
I've got 2 albums that I don't. Why don't you do that joke anymore? Have you heard that joke?
Have you seen it? Everybody's got, you hear the sophomore slump. The second record, like you've got to come out. And it's got to be better. It's got to be more.
It's a lot of pressure because they've already fallen in love with your style,
right?
And they want initially they want the first album. Speaking as a fan of music, whenever I fall in love with a band, I can't wait for more.
Right.
And then a lot of times a band will either change up their style a little bit, or they're like, well, everybody loves us, let's get crazy.
We can do whatever we want. Yeah, we paid our dues on that one record.
It's a tambourine. And you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And a lot of times it hurts them more than it helps them. That sophomore album is so dangerous.
You don't want to bore them by doing exactly what you did before, but you don't
change it too much.
You don't want to change too much, but you also want it to be organic. You want it to feel like it's come from, like it's just like if that, that first album was a seed, and now this is what's come from it. This is the new thing. This is what's grown from that thing. So you don't. It's got to feel organic, but it's always contrived. Like it's got to be.
It's got to feel honest, but forced. Why didn't you cheat it a little bit and say you kind of cherry pick it? Oh, I like this song from this album. I like this song from that album. Here's a new one.
Right.
Is there a reason you didn't? Was it fan base wise? Were you thinking that way, or was it just a personal decision of, fuck that, I'm done with that. I don't want to deal with those songs anymore. I want fresh.
Those songs were all written within 9 days of going the first album. Those songs were all written within 9 days of going into the studio. And if you listen to the first record, they all flow one into another. The last note of every song is the last chord is the first chord of the next song.
I haven't heard any of your albums.
So I've never heard it. So go back and give it a listen with that in mind, and now you have an inside track to enjoy it.
Yeah. Now is that a decision you made with marijuana or without?
Without, actually.
That seems like a very marijuana decision of what if they all were one song?
I love being in the studio. I love playing live, but I really love being in the studio. Like I dig that. There's something about taking like the core of a song and going, okay, this song is a story.
Right.
What's the best way to? Which I imagine it's very similar to when you have a funny bit or a premise. You're like, well, how would this be funny? Would this be funny as just a bit, or would it be funny as to pitch as a show, or would it be funny to those types of things?
A lot of times comics will write a punchline first somehow. We figure out a line, we'll think, or something will be on TV and it'll hit us, maybe it's a current event or something, and we'll think of a line, and then we go, well, how am I going to get to that?
Right.
So you're more of the you love the building aspect more than the actual finished performance.
Right.
I want to know how I can.
Right. I like, this is a story. How can I best tell this story? So it had been a year and a half when I had started working on the third installment of this record.
Yeah.
So I got it finished, and I got the song. Like I said, I was going to do 15, and I got to 11, and I was like, "That's it. That's the record.
Wow.
I'm done." And the engineer was like, "Great,
Yeah, exactly.
great." So there had been 2 full years where I'd gone through a lot. I had had a lot of changes. I'd been out on the road. I'd had to come back from the road.
Yeah.
So there've been a lot of things, and Trails to me stuck out as kind of an allegory for. You may feel like you're wandering, you may feel like you're lost, but as long as you just keep moving, you're gonna find a trail. You're not, to pull out our second Tyler Durden reference, you're not a unique and beautiful snowflake. Somebody has been through what you've been through, and they've done it before. So it had been this long period of time and a lot of changes and a lot of growth, and I felt like what tied all of those songs together on that record, other than that there were a lot of trails in the same forest.
Right.
Oh, 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 an innocent vendetta. If there is such a thing, her heart don't know no better. She's full of broken strings. You've got a mom and daddy. She got a cemetery plot she visits once a year. What you got she wants badly. She does her best to cure what's left up in between her ears. What we've got her right now is a rogue and a roustabout, trying her very best to save a woman from the man she's mad about. Yeah, girl, what you mad about? Oh, 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 an unfamiliar feeling. She wants someone to love. She don't sleep out that much, but you got what she's dreaming of. She gives away her body to any stranger who can navigate her map of scars. Her gritty grin is gaudy. Her focus wanders off and up amongst the stars. What we've got her right now is a rogue and a roustabout, trying her very best to save a woman from the man she's mad about. Yeah. At the end of every day, you lay your weary head down on the bed she threw away. She spends that money to get that loose liquor kind of love. It's just a matter of time before she stumbles through that ghost town I came from. What we've got right now is a rogue and a roustabout, trying her very best to save a woman from the man she's mad about. Yeah. What we've got her right now is a rogue and a roustabout, trying her very best to save a woman from the man she's mad about. Yeah, girl, what you mad about? Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh.
The song was, or the album was so many upbeat and fun songs about journey and love and all this great stuff. Why would you start it on such a depressing thing about it?
I wanted to,
because these people are going to buy the album, they're going to pop in their CD player. I love Ryan, but I'm going to cry.
I'm gonna cry right off the bat.
Right off the bat. What an asshole! Why would you do this to me?
Well, one of the things that I loved about the self-titled record was that opening track that kind of sets the stage. It's kind of a prelude to the rest of the record. It goes, this is where we're going.
Okay.
Thematically, lyrically, stylistically, vocally. I thought that track did kind of everything while being. I've always been a big fan of, anytime I'm getting ready to go into the studio, I think back to what do I like about the bands that I like, the records that I love, and all of the records that I love, they have almost like what feels like an intro track. Yeah. It feels like it's a thing where you go, okay, this is, and it, if you're thinking, whatever, musical theater or whatever, you've got this one guy on the stage doing a soliloquy, telling the audience, this is where this is going. This is where we're starting. This will give you a pretty good idea of what you're about to experience.
Yeah. A favorite song on the album?
I really like the track "Truth Is," which is the mostly a cappella with just a little bit of percussion. Yeah. I really like the way that song came out, and I really like the way that "Tear the World Apart" came out. Those are two tracks that I didn't really know going in. I didn't have much of an idea going in how I wanted to arrange those tunes.
A lot of times, artists will have something in their head and then they try to get it out in the right way, and maybe it's a little off. Or are those your favorite because they came out like, okay, that's the way it sounded in my head, that's the way it came out, and those are actually my favorite those two tracks are my favorite for the opposite reason. So I have been playing "Truth Is" for a long time live, and I use a lot of effects to play that tune. So I use some delay, I use some reverb on the vocals. Some auto.
I kind of make I try to make everything is pillowy and cloudy live. Stylistically, this record wasn't going to feel right to me with effects.
Right.
So I wanted to keep it, there's verb on the vocals and things like that, but not a lot. I wanted to keep it as much like a guy in a room playing songs as possible. Like, I was like, what do you think about laying down the most basic percussion tracks? Just doing a kick drum and a shaker.
Yeah.
And then just layering and layering and layering vocals to create the song. Well, I don't hate that idea. Let's try it. Yeah. He had as much a hand in making that finished product sound the way it did as I did, and it was just a lot of fun to create. And so I guess the reason I love that song so much is because it's not what I had in my head.
It's hard describing the album because I don't want to put it in one category, because you have those moments where the harmonies are layered. You have percussion going. There's almost certain elements that are almost forgive me, but like Justin Timberlake, where you have like a percussion come in, almost like a beat out of nowhere, on top of a folk track, and you're like, "Whoa, is this guy beatboxing on a folk track?" And then these harmonies kick in.
I always like to say, I'm a singer-songwriter, but I fancy myself a storyteller primarily, and whatever way I have to tell that story, that's the way I have to. That's the way I have to tell that story, and that's what keeps it from getting. That's what keeps it from getting monotonous for me. Like I never have to feel like there are certain tunes that sound like traditional country, and there are certain tunes that sound like just a folk. There are certain tunes that sound like a singer-songwriter from the '90s. There are certain that you just never.
Yeah, the album is so.
It keeps it from getting monotonous for me that I don't have to. I never sit down to write a song and feel like I have. And maybe Maybe that's why I don't have as many fans. But I never feel like I have to go, well, I've already started down this road, so I've got to write this kind of song.
Is so many different sounds, but yet it all fits together so perfectly. It's surgical the way you've done it. It's so many different things, yet it's all one thing.
I live my life like a board game. Roll the dice, cross your fingers, let them chips fall where they may. What's a boy to do? It's plain as me and you, we're all wandering in circles anyway. If I could tear this world apart, sell the pieces off and start it over new. Grant originals in part and build us all a brand new garden, name it after you. And if the devil's still there sneaking, I will chase him down and break him clean into you. Miserable with planning, I've got this tendency toward ranting, but if you'll have me, girl, I swear this much is true. I'll tear the whole world down and build it back for you. I run my mouth like a hurricane, popping off, cross your fingers, I don't conjure tears like rain. And what's a girl to do when she is rubber, he is glue? These words are daggers from the blue. If I could tear this world apart, sell the pieces off and start it over new. Grant originals in part and build us all a brand new garden, name it after you, yeah. And if the devil's still there sneaking, I will chase him down and break him clean into it. Got a tendency toward ranting, I'm miserable with planning, but if you'll have me, girl, I swear this much is true. I'll tear the whole world down, build it back for you. You live your life like a roadmap, girl, you know I'll never be like that. But if you'll have me, I swear this much is true. If I could tear this world apart, sell the pieces off and start it over. Grand originals in part and build a solid brand new garden, name it after you. And if the devil's still there sneaking, I will chase him down and break him clean into it. Got a tendency toward ranting and I'm miserable with planning, but if you'll have me, girl, I swear this much is true. I'll tear the whole world down, build it back for you.
Because you did it differently. You didn't just, a lot of artists they'll go in and they'll lay down a guitar track and then they'll lay down a vocal track, or a lot of folk or singer-songwriters will just go into the studio and just do it
Right.
You know, just guitar and vocals.
Right. And everything I've ever done, I always go, okay, we've got 7 tracks, and I need to have a drummer in. I don't have a drummer.
Right.
So I need to have a drummer in. So we need to find out what day the drummer can be there, or what 2 days, 3 days the drummer can be there.
Yeah.
And hammer out all the drum tracks right in a row for all 7 tracks. Well, I didn't have to do that because I was doing all the instrumentation myself. We put that one mic up, and I recorded the guitars into that mic, and then we recorded all the percussion into that mic, and then we recorded all the vocals into that mic, and then we went in and we did the bass direct in.
And you did the whole album like that, where you did song by song, where it was like, okay,
Just this one microphone. We did not use any different microphones for the entire record. I don't know if he had this idea from the start.
Yeah.
But with the benefit of hindsight, I realized what that allowed us to do is it allowed us to treat every song like it was a single.
So looking back at this studio work where you took it song by song and you worked the hell out of it until you had them perfect, and these long hours and all this stuff, would you do it again like that way?
I don't have anything against doing that again, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think
so it wasn't too much work.
No, I think the end result is worth it.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of the record and of the way it turned out, and I would do it that way again. In people's minds, I do everything absolutely backwards. Everything I do is reverse. I played in bands my whole career, leading up, 7, 6, 8 years playing in bands.
Right.
And then I decided I was done with that, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So I became a solo artist. Well, in people's minds, you start out a solo artist when you don't have any friends or know any musicians,
right.
and then you upgrade to a band. So people are always like, "Well, when are you gonna start playing with the band?" And I'm like, "I don't know that I am. I already did that, and I didn't like it, so I'm doing this now, and I'll let you know." Every band I've ever been in, I've always surrounded myself with people who were better than me at something.
There's a song called "Truth Is," and it's a little bit different arrangement-wise than what you'll hear on the record. I'm in love with the thought it does not love me back. I still sleep with it in my mind all the time. I can't sleep alone. The truth is, I think we're wasting time, acting as though it is all well and fine. Truth is, I think we're wasting time, acting as though it is all well and fine. Oh, pouring sand from the hourglass and into the night. I'm in love with a girl. She's my world. Watch it burn away. And I still sleep with her in my bed. No, our love is dead. I can't sleep alone. No, the truth is, I think we're wasting time, acting as though it is all from the hourglass and into the night. I was born with a Midas touch. By your standards, that gold isn't worth too much. And I'm a man of efficiency. You say that studio ain't fit for me. I got a handle on a place to stay. You say, don't go getting so complacent on me. No, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say, yeah, yeah, yeah. Pouring sand from the hourglass and into the night.
Words tend to stick with me.
Yeah.
If I have a line that I love those words, I'll remember it.
Yeah.
If I have a riff, sometimes I'll forget it. So I get my phone out and I record the riff, and especially if I have the riff, I'll start playing it and then I'll remember the words. But that particular song, I went back and I thought about the song he was talking about, and I went back and I was like, I do just sound like a prick. I had a situation where there was a particular relationship that I was in,
Right.
and we were no longer together, and it really got to a point where I felt like I could write about some of the things that went on,
Right.
and so I did. And this person heard that song and it was like, what?
I also like that.
Protection.
Billy, how we look sound-wise?
What? Hey.
Good.
Here? Am I
Hey,
good?
can you hear me now?
Am I good?
Is it clear?
Am I good? Good?
How do my money teeth look?